Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to my very first episode of Inspirational Vibes with Maria Young. Today, I am gonna go for a very personal approach with you, kind of a up close and personal of who I really am. I know for the people that know me, I'm really notarized as being someone that's very happy, go lucky, fun loving, and sometimes all over the place. Um, with that in mind, that's always a good personality to have. But I am also a firm believer that there is a time and a place for everything and every season underneath the sun. And so in this case, depending on the things that you are going through, I believe there's certain points in our lives that we really have to take that more serious approach, that serious stance on things. So in this particular episode, that is where I am coming from. At first, I wanted to have a structured show, and I wanted to go through the process of preparation and having a structured format. But thinking more on the lines of what I wanted to talk about and express, I didn't want to limit myself or restrict myself in the topics that I wanted to discuss. So I am really going to be all over the place on this one, but really touching on a lot of aspects and points in our lives that I think we have to address to be able to move forward in what we want to do. First and foremost, let me go ahead and get out of the way, just so you know that I am firmly grounded in being a Christian believer. And I'm really hoping that this doesn't deter anyone from watching the rest of this episode, because no matter where you're at in life, no matter what your religion background is or lack thereof, I do not condemn anyone, and I believe that this episode can really teach, a lot of the things that we are struggling with in life. So, I think that anyone watching this show can really take something out of this. So, again, please don't let that turn you off. But again, I do not condemn anyone, and I especially do not believe in forcing anyone in believing what I believe in. This is primarily based on my opinions and my opinions alone. So if Christianity offends you, by all means, this is your out. Go ahead and click that stop button, and no hurt feelings, no love loss at all. Now for the Christian believers, really want you to focus on some of the things that I say, and hopefully it'll enhance your walk and your journey through this wonderful, amazing, sometimes crazy and sometimes unpredictable thing called life. Now, with that being said, life indeed is like a roller coaster ride. There's so many twists and turns. You never know where you're going to end up at. You never know if you're going to be in your highs or your lows. Situations in our lives just really are very unpredictable. So a lot of times what I tell folks is to grab a hold on tight, strap on, buckle up that seatbelt, whatever you have to do, and hang on in there for dear life, because again, life is so unpredictable and there's so many things that'll come your way. You really have to be firmly grounded and balanced in your walk and in your mission and in your goal of what you want to do. Now, I've been facing a lot of things as of recently. A lot of things that have come against me, a lot of things that I've been combating. One of the things in life that I really have to pinpoint and talk about is how situations in our lives sometimes will throw us totally off balance, especially the most hurtful situations have a tendency to really take hold of our mental and physical ability to adapt and to come up with the best solution out of that situation. And because we are such emotional creatures, we have a tendency to really embrace our emotions and allow it to overtake us to the point that we cannot even think straight. In those times of turmoil, I ask you to find a quiet place in your life, away from the hustle and bustle that really grabs you and takes you to places that you don't want to go. You have to find that quiet within that storm where you are able to refocus on your goals, your desires, who you are, your destiny, where you want to go, and start coming up with a structure, a format, and a plan to fulfill those objectives, to really bring yourself into that dream of reality where your dreams become actual and factual. One of the things, like I've said, a roller coaster ride, so unpredictable and so out of control. Some of the situations that happen in our lives, we absolutely have no control over, no influence over. One of the things that I always say, no matter what predicament you are in, the only thing that you have control of is your reaction to the situation, is to the focal point of what you really hone in on and focus on. When troubled times come your way, if you decide to really indulge yourself in the traumatic event, if you really indulge yourself in the self-loathing process, in the feeling sorry for yourself state of mind, in the there's no light at the end of the tunnel type of mentality, you're really setting yourself up for a failure. I know in life we have many, many pity parties, but after all of that has been said and done, after you've cried all of your tears and you've sulked and you've moped and you've had your temper tantrum, because that is a natural aspect of being human, there's a point where you have to rebuild yourself. You have to again remember what it is to take a stand against your trials and your tribulations. You have to refocus on who you are, because in the aspect of who you are brings to light what you are capable of doing. A lot of times we limit ourselves because of our imprisoned state of mind, where we begin to believe in what's being told, where we begin to believe in our situation, where we begin to believe in the unfortunate circumstances that have surrounded us. And that's where we become blindsided to solutions, but we focus on the hurt and the pain, and we keep ourselves trapped within that prison. One thing I have to say is, no matter what happens, know who you are, know your strengths, bring back into remembrance those things that have brought you out of similar situations. One thing I always say is that, no matter what comes my way, I've faced much bigger monsters than you, and I've survived. And that's the mentality that you have to take, no matter how preposterous your situation is, no matter how hurtful or demanding or very destructive your situation is. Know that you have a foundation in which you stand, and that's your belief system and your values. Start remembering all of the things that you love and all of the things that make you who you are. And remember that through every trial and tribulation, there's a learning process in that. In finding that solution, if we take hold to the many lessons in life that really are submerged within those unfortunate situations, we will begin to learn that, if we go ahead and start taking those lessons and start building upon them, we can maneuver into places where we've never gone before. And when I say this is because I think through the darkened, most distraught situations in our lives, we begin to learn and appreciate what it is to step into the light. We begin to appreciate the warmth and the light of day. I think that one of the things that we really have to take hold of and try to begin to comprehend is the simple fact that it is through the most darkest moments of our lives, some of the most traumatic moments in our lives, that we begin to learn and grow from. That is the place where we find most growth. There are certain processes in our lives that we indeed have to go through to get to the next level. I believe that it is through the fire that we become more refined. I believe that it is through the grinder that we become more polished. It is the very things that keep us stabilized, more structured, and more balanced to be capable of facing things in the future that we may endure. Indeed, that process that we have to go through to get to the next phase. And there really is no shortcuts or no way around it. Sometimes it is true. We really have to walk through that fire, knowing who we are, knowing that we are more than capable, and knowing that we have what it takes to get through this. And if you have that understanding and you focus on the lessons rather than the hurt and the pain and the grief, if you focus on what you can acquire from the situation rather than the destructive blow that it has to your mental psyche, I believe, again, folks, if we begin to embrace the fact that there cannot be a testimony without tests. And in life, this situation that we are going through is reoccurring because the storms come and they go, and they come back and they go again. So with every phase of our lives, we have to get stronger. We have to learn how to combat these issues. We have to learn how to stay focused. We have to learn how to stay grounded. And we have to learn how to live no matter what comes against us. So we have to maintain our strengths at all times and at all costs. I think another important aspect that we have to really touch on is the simple fact of the many things that we allow into our lives, the negative situations that we have a tendency to surround ourselves with, regardless to if it's circumstance or treatment or negative people that have a certain influence over us. I think we have to be wise enough to know and kind of disregard our emotional attachment to these things. We have to be wise enough to be able to confront these things by saying no. We don't want to be submerged in it. We don't want a part of it because we know the strength and potency that negativity has over our lives. And I think to fully be able to live a happy life, you can't allow these petty things, these things that really have no bearing in your growth, to really seed itself into your life and become a weed and choke out the very life that you have within you, the very happiness. In that essence, allowing someone or your circumstance to steal away your joy. Your joy belongs to you, but you decide whether or not you allow something or someone to take that away from you. But you have the power. You have the power for your own determination of how you are going to live. And again, one of the things that we have a tendency to do is really download negative circumstances and situations into our lives that we really have to take a stance against. There's no such thing as submerging yourself into negativity and still living a productive life. It kind of really doesn't even go within the same sentence. So again, you have to be wise enough, strong enough, and to feel as if your future and your goals are more important to you than the drama that comes about with submerging yourself into this negativity. So take that stance, and like drugs, this is something that can become a plague, and this is something that can make you lose total focus on what you need to do. So just say no to that, and I really mean that. I mean, come to a point in your life that you just do not want to be a part of it. Now, another discussion that I really want to talk about is being able to move from a point of hurt, especially in those cases where we find ourselves really hurt and held back by the people that we love the most. I think those are the things that are hardest for us to let go. But it is the most important thing for us to do, because whether we know it or not, even if it's in our subconscious state of mind, we hold on to those things, and they have such a heavy weight upon our heart and our souls, and they do have an influence on how we live and how we feel and how we embrace life as a wondrous journey that it could be. A lot of times I believe we put too much hope in man. Teachings say that you should never put all of your faith in man, because if you do, they will let you down each and every time. Why? Because we're man, we're human. That's the way things are. We're flip-floppy by nature. I mean, one day we're this way, and the next day we're that way. That is just the natural state of mankind. So you can't sit there and begin to evaluate man and put him on a pedestal and hold them to a standard that we don't even hold ourselves. We aren't perfect. We will do things that are not right, or we will do things that aren't the most appropriate things to do, but we do them. And so in that case, we have to understand the mentality of man, and we really cannot hold them to the grail on that aspect of them being perfect. And we have to come to a place that we let go of our bitterness and the feeling of betrayal, because again, subconsciously, we really allow them to impede on the life that we ought to be living. We cannot fully live if we harbor and we nurture such ill will and such bad feelings and negativity. I mean, if you would just take a moment and really focus on your goals and your destiny and realize that that is so much more important than the hurt and the pain that you are feeling, you will begin to realize, if you unload, if you let go of those ill feelings, that your spirit will be uplifted, and you will feel that cloud being shifted or being moved away, that darkened cloud. You can allow that sunlight to come into your life again. Sometimes we allow people to control the very way we live, and we can't do that, folks. We have to come to a point of forgiveness, and I'm not even going to say to forget, because I think in the act of forgetting we lose the potency of learning. So yeah, take with you the things that are going to allow you to maneuver much more cleverly in the future, but don't allow that hate to totally destroy and be destructive to who you are and the life that you know you are capable of living. Don't allow people to steal your joy. You are the controller of your destiny. You are the controller of where you decide to place your happiness at. And you are the very decider of what path that you choose to take. So again, learn to forgive. Okay, folks, and this is actually going to be our last topic of discussion. Of course, last but never least, and I actually think it's one of the most important part of what I needed to really discuss with you today. Our topic of discussion is our belief system and who we are and what we are capable of doing. One of the main things about our destiny is, in order for us to reach our destiny, we have to be able to want to grasp and take hold of our fullest and greatest potential. And that comes from really having a belief system in who we are and knowing who we are and what we're capable of. One of the things that I think that a lot of us walk around in life saying or asking ourselves when certain things come about where we can, come for a promotion or betterment of our lives or just become greater in who we are, I think is that question of we begin to doubt, so we begin to ask, why me? And I think we have to get to a point of not asking why me, but asking why not me? I mean, having the confidence to know that you are capable of far greater things than you could ever imagine, and taking hold of each and every opportunity that comes your way. And with being capable of doing that, that comes from a level of confidence, a level of knowing what you were meant to do, and having that passion, that fire enough to want to be able to accomplish your mission and goal in life. Having that passion where you are going to work wholeheartedly with your full body, mind, and soul to achieve those goals. One thing I want you guys to realize is that you indeed are more than capable, and it's all about your belief system and what you believe in yourself. Once you have your belief system in place, and once you have the confidence to know what you are capable of doing and not being afraid of being put under the pressure, because guys, when we are put under the pressure, we really find out exactly what we are capable of. So don't run from that. I mean, have it to where it's an opportunity to discover the fullness and the capacity of what you are capable of doing. Like I said, once you have that in place, there is nothing and no one that can ever come between you and your destiny. Once you believe in yourself, now it's just all a matter of encouragement, keeping yourself inspired and motivated. And even though I say that, very, mildly, it is easier than what we believe it is. It's just that we don't have things in place that'll keep us inspired when we are at a season of drought, when we reach dry places in our lives. We have to know where to go, where that watering hole is. We need to know where to get our fulfillment and our nourishment and our food for the soul. I mean, there's many things around us that really can inspire us and get us riled up into, what we need to do, that passionate fire, that comes about and just really puts our soul ablaze. I mean, those are the things that we have to really dive into. And there's many resources for that. I mean, whether it be going into church, being able to see what your potential is, what God's desire is for your life, whether it be going to the library and checking out some inspirational books or watching inspirational shows. There's also YouTube. Just as you have happened upon my YouTube channel, there are a whole slew, thousands and thousands, a multitude of different channels that are dedicated solely for inspiring the soul. Just getting your food and getting your fill of the very positive, very uplifting things that'll catapult you into where you need to be, into that fertile soil that you can grow abundantly and start seeing such a powerful movement in your life. You are more than capable, and I want you guys to believe that today. I believe in you, folks. I believe in you. Believe in yourself, because if you do, if you believe, indeed, you can and will achieve. And that is my last and final message for you today. I know I've been here, there, and everywhere with this, but I really wanted to take a generic approach and just really touch on a multitude of different topics that I feel that, we've dealt with in the past or are dealing with now or will deal with in the future. And I hope that something that I've said today has really tickled your inspirational bone and really has sparked a curiosity for you to want to learn and grow and become all that it is that you are capable of being. And I thank you so much for tuning in to our very first episode of Inspirational Vibes with Maria Young. I would like to ask you to leave any comments or feedback on our YouTube channel, which is Picture Maria 1. Once again, I thank you so much for tuning in and would like to remind you to always stay encouraged, stay focused, and stay in control of your dreams and your destiny. This has been Maria Young, reporting live from Central Florida.